We've a story now, a story about a holy man, Benno. Benno and the frogs. Benno was a very holy man, and several stories were told about him. He was so holy that he prayed nearly all day long. He would go into the woods and pray for hour after hour. One day, in late spring or early summer, he went out as usual. He saw that everything was very beautiful. The blossom on the trees, the swallows skimming through the blue sky, the warmth of the air. He knew that his main prayer today would be to thank God for all of these beautiful things. So Benno raised his arms to heaven, opened his mouth and... It was the sheep in a nearby field.
Stop that! I can't think with that row going on, let alone pray.
So the sheep, who knew that they had to obey such a holy person, stopped bleating. Benno raised his arms again and opened his mouth to pray. This time it was the cows in the pasture over there, and what was worse, the sheep started bleating as well.
Oh, for goodness sake! I'm trying to pray!
So the sheep and the cows stopped their noise. Benno raised his arms for a third time.
Oh, Lord! I can't believe it!
He looked up. There was a blackbird's nest in one of the trees. Some eggs had just hatched and the fledglings were making a racket, and this started the sheep and the cows as well.
Excuse me, you lot. Someone's trying to pray down here. Could you please, Mrs. Blackbird, stop your babies from making such a din?
So Mrs. Blackbird, who knew she had to obey such a holy person, chopped up a worm and popped it into her young ones' mouths and told them that they had to stay quiet. And the sheep and the cows stopped as well. Benno raised his arms yet again and started to pray. And when the frogs croaked, the birds started twittering and the cows started mooing and the sheep started bleating.
I can't believe it! I just can't believe it! You lot in that pond, pipe down! I'm trying to pray!
Benno still couldn't pray.
It's just not good enough. Turn it off completely.
But it was no good. The animals were enjoying themselves so much that they just couldn't stop. Benno was really cross by now.
That's it. I have had enough. Right. I want every animal in this wood to listen to me. I am a very holy person, and it's my job to pray, but I can't pray with all this racket going on. So you're all going to have to shut up. Stop making such a din.
As soon as he said this, the wood fell silent. Benno was really pleased. He raised his arms and opened his mouth to pray, but nothing happened. He tried to make his tongue make some sounds, but words just wouldn't come out. He put his fingers in his mouth and gave his tongue a twiddle, but it was no use. The words still wouldn't happen. Then suddenly God sent him a memory. He remembered a story from the Bible. It was the story of 3 Jewish men called Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who had been captured by Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, and ordered to bow down and worship a golden statue that he had made. They refused and said that they would only worship the true God, the God of Israel, who made heaven and earth. The king of Babylon got so angry that he ordered them to be thrown into a burning fiery furnace. But when they were thrown in, an angel came to them, and they were not burned or harmed in any way. While they were in the burning fiery furnace, they sang a great song of thankfulness to God. Benno remembered some of the lines from their song.
Give thanks to the Lord, you whales, and all that swim in the waters.
Give him thanks and praise him for ever.
Give thanks to the Lord, all birds of the air.
Give him thanks and praise him for ever.
Give thanks to the Lord, all people on earth.
Give him thanks and praise him for ever. Benno suddenly realised that the bleating of the sheep and the mooing of the cows and the singing of the birds and the croaking of the frogs might be pleasing to God. In fact, it might be even more pleasing to God than his own prayers. So he said sorry to all the animals and told them that they could make as much noise as they liked. From that moment, his tongue was loosened and he could pray again.